You know that feeling? That quiet, heavy, almost slow sinking sensation right there in your chest. You're sitting across from someone you really genuinely care about. Could be a partner, could be a friend. And yet there's this quiet little internal sigh, this realization, I feel trapped.
It's such a paradox, isn't it? Because, on the surface, everything might look fine. It might even look good.
Right.
But inside, you start to recognize that the walls closing in, well, you actually built them with your own hands. It's not some external prison. It's this prison of false closeness. And it's constructed with thousands of these really small, exhausting acts of, erasing yourself.
Like every yes you said when your gut was screaming no.
Exactly. Or every time you just stayed silent when you desperately wanted to speak up, or even scream.
I think we really need to unpack the why, though. Because why would anyone do that? It sounds counterintuitive, building your own cage.
Well, the drive behind it is incredibly powerful and deeply human, isn't it? It's that craving for warmth, for safety, for a belonging, that feeling of needing to belong.
So you learn, maybe unconsciously at first, to just fold yourself smaller.
Yeah. You adopt this sort of silent core belief, if I just make myself easy to love, if I just become what they seem to need, then they won't leave me.
Then I won't be abandoned.
Exactly. The fear of abandonment is huge. And look, it's a brilliant survival strategy initially, but the cost eventually is your authentic self.
So that's what we're diving into today.
Right. The mission here is to really explore the anatomy of that self-abandonment, and crucially, how reclaiming your full, sometimes messy, complicated I, the one with actual needs and boundaries, is the only path to real, nourishing contact.
And we start by tuning into the body, right? The immediate experience.
Yes, precisely. We start with the phenomenal data, what's actually happening right now.
Okay, let's talk about the weight of all that pretending. Because at first there can be a kind of buzz almost. People call you amazing or so selfless, you're the rock. You get rewarded, in a way, for minimizing yourself.
Oh, absolutely. There's positive reinforcement there.
But that glow, it always fades, doesn't it? And what replaces it is just sheer exhaustion. Think about that scenario. Maybe you're at dinner, you're nodding, you're smiling, and suddenly it hits you. Wow, I haven't actually spoken from my center in like 40 minutes.
Yeah. You've only been responding.
Accommodating.
Just reacting.
This internal alarm bell, that exhaustion, that's what we look at through the lens of phenomenology, which sounds fancy, but it just means focusing on the raw, unfiltered experience of what is right now, not what you think you should be feeling.
So not judging it, just noticing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The body is always talking, especially when the voice freezes up. You know, when you try to voice a need that feels risky, what actually happens?
Your heart pounds, maybe. Throat gets tight.
Or sometimes, literally, it feels like your tongue is glued to the roof of your mouth.
Yeah.
The words just won't come out. That's such a key point, listening to the body as the messenger. So maybe let's invite you, the listener, right now. Just take a breath. When you think about a time you felt that sense of being trapped or needing to pretend, where does that sit in your body? Can you locate it?
Is it a tightness?
A heaviness?
Yeah, like a knot in the stomach. Or maybe a weird numbness behind your eyes, shoulders feeling heavy. Just notice.
Exactly. And the crucial part is, don't try to fix it or judge it. Just notice. This is your organism, your whole system, signaling that a boundary has been crossed.
And it not necessarily by the other person?
Often not. It's signaling that the boundary was crossed by that part of you that still holds on to that deep belief. To be loved, I have to disappear.
We saw this so clearly with the story of Maria. She felt this overwhelming guilt because her partner, Leo, was objectively great. Wonderful, supportive, perfect even.
Of all the right words.
Yeah, but she was physically exhausted and had this quiet, desperate urge to just run away. Why wasn't the strategy working? Why trapped instead of secure? Because her body had essentially taken over the appeasement job full time. It was automatic. The moment Leo walked into the room, her breath would get shallow.
Oh, wow.
Her shoulders would kind of curl forward. She described it like having radar, constantly scanning his face, his mood, and adjusting her energy, her tone, just automatically.
All to keep him calm.
All to keep him calm, which in her internal logic meant keeping him close. So the strategy kept the relationship looking okay on the surface, but it was suffocating the real Maria inside. She never felt truly met.
And that automatic response, that connects right into the terror of saying no, doesn't it? Of expressing difference.
Absolutely. Let's bring back Maria's story with the Portugal trip. Leo suggests this amazing 3-week trip. Sounds great.
On paper, yeah.
But her entire body just went cold instantly. And it wasn't because she disliked Portugal. It was because what she truly deeply craved was the polar opposite. Just unstructured, gloriously empty hours at home, alone, quiet, space. But the terror wasn't really about saying, I don't feel like Portugal right now. The terror was about saying, no, just no.
Why? What was underneath that no?
It was rooted deep in that survival script. If I say no, he'll think I'm ungrateful, he'll be disappointed, he might stop loving me.
And then I'll be alone.
And then I'll be alone, and being alone feels worse somehow than this feeling of being suffocated. So what did she do?
She performed.
She performed, forced a smile, said, oh, wow, babe, that sounds amazing. And then she cried herself to sleep that night.
Wow, that moment right there.
Yeah.
That's the building site for the prison of false closeness.
That's it, exactly. It's built on these unspoken contracts, these silent agreements. I will be who you need me to be.
And I will silence my own mute so yours can be heard fully. It's a strange kind of bargain.
And the consequence, the deep irony, is that people do rely on you. They might stay. They call you the rock.
But the rock is turning to stone.
Precisely. You're becoming rigid, lifeless inside. Because, true, nourishing contact, real intimacy, it can only happen between two whole people, not between one whole person and, well, a ghost of another.
It needs your full, messy, actual presence.
Which requires boundaries. And we have to reframe boundaries here. They aren't walls to push people away. They aren't weapons.
They're more like the shape of you?
Yes, the contour of your soul. That's a beautiful way to put it. Without that clear shape, you just dissolve into the other person or the situation. And real intimacy just can't happen in that state of fusion.
So, okay, if this self-erasing is happening constantly, it means we're interrupting something, right? Our own natural flow.
Yeah.
You mentioned the Gestalt cycle of contact.
Yes.
Can we map out what that healthy flow actually looks like first, before we see where it breaks down?
Definitely. So the cycle describes the organic, natural way we as organisms meet a need. It starts with sensation. Just a flicker, a need, a desire, maybe a discomfort arises. I'm tired. I feel a pang of hunger. I feel annoyed.
Just the raw data.
Raw data. That moves into awareness, where you start to recognize and name it. Ah, okay, I'm tired, I need rest. Or I need to say something about this frustration.
You make sense of the sensation.
Right. Then comes mobilization. This is where your body actually starts gathering energy to act. Your breath might dip in, your posture might shift slightly, your voice gathers resonance.
Okay, so the body's literally gearing up.
It's gearing up, preparing for action, which could be speaking your truth, reaching out, setting the boundary, whatever meets the need.
And that action leads to?
Leads to contact, actually meeting the environment, the other person, fully with that need or expression. And if that goes well, if the need is met appropriately, you reach satisfaction.
Like a release.
A release of tension, yes. A sense of completion. And then naturally you move into withdrawal, a period of rest, integration, letting go, before the next cycle begins.
Okay, that sounds, well, fluid, natural.
Yeah.
So if that's the healthy flow, where exactly does it get broken in this prison of false closeness? Where's the fracture point?
Almost invariably, the interruption happens right at mobilization.
Right, when the energy starts to build.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Just as the body gathers the energy to speak the truth, to say the no or the yes that's authentic, freeze, the impulse gets shut down.
What does that feel like, aborting the energy right there?
It's like slamming on the brakes and flooring the gas pedal the exact same time. You feel the impulse, the energy, wanting to move forward, maybe push away or speak up.
But the fear kicks in.
The internalized threat, danger, don't do that, slams on the brakes. So, going back to Maria in Portugal, sensation, exhaustion, awareness, I desperately need space. Mobilization starts, maybe your diaphragm tightens, throat constricts, ready to say, actually.
And then?
Then the inner alarm bell, that old survival script flashes. If you say no, he'll leave you, you'll be alone. And boom, cycle aborted, the energy gets choked off.
So what happens to that energy, the need, the frustration, the authentic desire? It doesn't just vanish, does it?
Absolutely not. It has to go somewhere. It gets retroflected.
Retroflected, meaning?
Turned back against the self. That energy that was meant to move outward, to create a boundary or express a need to the other person, gets turned inward. It becomes a force acting against her own system.
So her no to Leo becomes
a silent war inside her body, as you put it. It manifests as tension, headaches, chronic anxiety, that knot in the stomach, maybe grinding her teeth at night.
You're basically punching yourself instead of the wall.
That's a good way to think about it. The energy implodes, and this is crucial. The pain you feel then isn't really caused by the relationship itself. It's caused by your own swallowed energy, your own aborted no's and yes.
And what's so important to grasp here, I think, is that this interruption isn't some kind of personal failing or pathology.
Not at all. It's brilliant adaptation, learned survival.
Your nervous system learned, probably very early on,
Yeah.
if I assert myself, if I set a boundary, I risk being abandoned.
And if I'm abandoned, I might actually die. For a child, that's a legitimate existential threat.
So that early imprint is why setting a boundary, even now, as a capable adult, can still feel terrifyingly high stakes, like life or death.
Absolutely. And that core adaptation, that need to avoid authentic contact to stay safe, shows up in other protective strategies too. It's not just retroflexion.
Right. Other ways we kind of disappear or avoid the risk. We should probably touch on those.
Yeah, briefly. Because recognizing them is key. One common one is confluence.
Confluence, like flowing together.
Exactly. It's where the boundary between self and other gets really blurry or disappears altogether. You lose track of where you end and they begin.
So their stress immediately becomes your emergency.
Bingo. Fusion gets mistaken for intimacy. If your partner is anxious about work, you suddenly feel overwhelming anxiety for them, maybe start frantically trying to fix it for them, completely losing touch with your own emotional center.
Okay, I see that. What's another one?
Projection. This is a classic. We take our own feelings, thoughts, needs, especially the ones we find unacceptable in ourselves, and we attribute them to the other person.
So if I feel really needy, but I hate feeling needy.
You might experience the other person as being incredibly demanding. They always need something from me. It allows you to avoid owning your own disowned neediness.
Wow. Okay. Projection. What else?
Deflection. This is all about avoiding real contact by changing the subject, using humor constantly, or maybe overgiving.
The person who cracks a joke the moment things get serious.
Exactly. Or the one who, when you ask how they are, immediately pivots to, "But how are you? Tell me about your day." Or brings you coffee just as you were about to express a difficult feeling. It keeps things light, superficial, and safe from deep presence.
And then we come back around to retroflexion, which you already explained, that turning inward.
Yes, the implosion, the clenched jaw, the tight stomach, the headaches, the physical result of holding it all in, that's often necessary to maintain that outer performance of false closeness.
So recognizing these confluence, projection, deflection, retroflexion, it's not about finding flaws in yourself, is it?
Not at all. It's about recognizing these incredibly intelligent protective strategies that likely kept you safe at one point. They're like exhausted guardians.
And now maybe your body, your adult self, is asking for a different way, asking to gently unlearn them.
Precisely. The path forward isn't about fixing or aggressively overcoming these patterns. It's much more about befriending the interruption itself.
Befriending it, how?
Through gentle, really non-judgmental awareness. It means slowing way down, pausing right at that moment of mobilization, that freeze point.
And the impulse gets shut down.
Yes. And instead of automatically collapsing into the old pattern, the forced smile, the "it's fine," you just allow yourself to feel the impulse fully. Feel the tremor in your hands, the heat rising in your chest, the tears welling up, the flicker of anger, whatever it is. Just feel it without judgment and without immediate action.
Just being present with the raw energy.
Being present with what is. That's the beginning.
This leads us back to Maria and what you call the quiet miracle of her reclamation.
Yes. She'd been practicing this, noticing, just tracking her internal world for weeks. Not trying to change anything drastically.
Just watching the pattern.
Just watching. Then one evening, Leo, noticing her quietness perhaps, suggests maybe they postpone the full Portugal trip. Maybe do a shorter weekend away instead sometime later.
Okay, so he offered a compromise.
He did. Now, the old Maria, the automatic Maria, would have reflexively jumped in with this gush of gratitude, right? "Oh my God, thank you, you're amazing, yes, perfect." Overcompensating.
Securing the connection through appeasement.
Exactly. But this time, she just paused. She actually felt her breath. She noticed the energy of that immediate habitual yes surge up, but she just held it for a second.
Didn't act on it immediately.
Didn't act. She felt a warmth in her chest, and she realized, maybe for the first time, it wasn't relief from his concession. It was warmth from her own presence, her own centeredness in that moment.
Wow.
And then, very softly, deliberately, she said, without a big explanation, no justification, and crucially, no apology. "Thank you. That feels right."
Just that.
Just that. Simple. Grounded. Present.
And the shift there, the real victory. It wasn't that Leo changed the plan.
Absolutely not. The victory was internal. It was that Maria didn't abandon herself in that moment just to keep him close. She stayed. She was present to her own truth.
And that space between them, created by her pause, her simple boundary.
That space, that breath, that clear contour that is the fertile ground for real intimacy. It shifted the dynamic from a kind of anxious fusion to mutual presence. Two whole people in the room.
So as we wrap up, the real insight here is emotional, isn't it? That prison you feel trapped in. It was actually built out of a desperate kind of love, a deep longing for connection.
Yes. And the sadness, maybe even grief you might feel now, recognizing how often you've disappeared yourself. That's not failure. That's the necessary mourning of your own absence.
A sacred step, really, towards coming home.
Absolutely. It's part of the return journey.
So the final practice, the invitation we want to leave you with, is simply to remember deep in your body that you are profoundly allowed to exist, fully.
The revolution doesn't have to be loud. It begins quietly, inside, by allowing yourself to feel the full energy of your authentic no or your authentic yes.
Making it a conscious choice, rooted in your present awareness.
Not just an automatic erasure born out of that old fear.
The prison door, it turns out, was unlocked all along.
You hold the key. Remember, boundaries are not the end of love. They are the very condition for real love to flourish.
So here's the final thought to maybe mull over. What if belonging doesn't actually require disappearing? What if closeness, real, deep closeness, thrives not in that blurry fusion, but in freedom?
And whispering to yourself, maybe right now, I am here, fully and without apology.
Yeah.
That's the beginning. That's how you start coming home to yourself.